This week, we observe Veterans Day. And quite frankly, we should never, ever miss the opportunity to salute and thank the men and women who have served in our armed services. And it really doesn't matter whether they serve by volunteering or by accepting being drafted during the time in our nation's history when we called up young men to fight our wars. They had to comply, but their doing so put them in the position of agreeing to the service and sacrifice for our country, as well as the preservation of our liberty. Now, while certain benefits have been established for veterans, like the VA, the GI Bill that enabled many veterans to attain additional education, or even the right to be buried in a military cemetery, we will never overdo just saying thanks to those who put their very lives in harm's way to keep the battles of destroying freedom from happening in our streets and neighborhoods. Sadly, a lot of veterans have not fully realized the gratitude of their nation for their service. Many of the homeless people in our streets are actually veterans whose time in combat left them mentally and emotionally shattered, and some have turned to alcohol or drugs, and they ended up on the streets instead of in hospitals or rehab centers. Other veterans, especially from the Vietnam era, were never fully appreciated when they returned from war, and many suffered from chemical exposure to Agent Orange or napalm, resulting in some severe health consequences. Often veterans have been put through mountains of paperwork and government red tape and financial peril just trying to secure the benefits that were supposed to be assigned to them. I've often said, the first fruits of our treasury ought to go to those who put their lives on the line for the rest of us. And their earned benefits ought to be paid even if it requires the dismantling and selling off of every monument and government building in Washington, D.C. We owe that to our veterans. So, when I heard from the Wall Street Journal that the Biden administration planned to give up to $450,000 per person to illegal immigrants because they were separated from their families during the course of their breaking the law by coming into our country unlawfully, I thought, surely not. We're not that dumb. And initially, President Biden himself denied it, and he said that those reports were garbage.
If you guys keep sending that garbage out, yeah, but it's not true.
So this is a garbage report?
Yeah.
Well, within a day, his own Justice Department and press secretary were saying there were payments of that amount planned for illegals. In a stunning display of arrogance, the White House acting press secretary claimed that giving away billions of American taxpayer dollars in one-time amounts to illegal immigrants that would exceed the 15-year earnings of many of our veterans was totally justified. And of course, prompted by what she claimed were the cruel actions of, wait for it, Donald Trump.
If it saves taxpayer dollars and puts the disastrous history of the previous administration's use of zero tolerance and family separation behind us, the president is perfectly comfortable with the Department of Justice settling with the individuals and families who are currently in litigation with the U.S. government.
Maybe it wasn't garbage after all. Not long after that, Joe Biden himself must have been told what he was doing, but had denied previously. Turned out the reports weren't garbage. And Biden exploded in anger when asked about it, calling the payouts of $450,000 to illegals deserved.
If, in fact, because of the outrageous behavior of the last administration, you coming across the border, whether it was legal or illegal, and you lost your child, it's gone, you deserve some kind of compensation, no matter what the circumstance.
You deserve it. You know what's garbage? It's letting our veterans wait for and be denied access to medical care or housing while people who snuck into the country illegally are rewarded with a staggering sum of cash coming right out of the pockets of people like you. That's garbage. And President Biden says these illegals deserve it. I would ask why. You know who does deserve it? Who does deserve compensation, if anyone does? It's not the people who broke the law. It's the veterans of our country who preserved the law. That's who deserves it. Joe Biden is giving out taxpayer money like trick-or-treat candy. And he says that illegals deserve it because some of them were separated from their families. Dear God in heaven, what about the soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guard members who got separated from their families while they went halfway around the world to get shot at? And some of them never came home. Their separation was permanent. And by the way, if they get killed in the line of duty, the death benefit for one of our men or women in uniform is $100,000. So are you okay that Joe Biden thinks an illegal immigrant temporarily separated from family deserves 4.5 times what one of our heroes gets, who is permanently separated from his or her family? I say to my Democrat friends and never Trump or Republicans who voted for Joe Biden because they didn't like Donald Trump's tweets, snap out of your complacency over policies that are a slap in the face to our laws, your hard-earned money, and most of all, our heroes who wore the uniform, served our flag of this once great and grateful nation. Now, if you're seeing this, I know you've enjoyed that video. I mean, how could you not, after all? So you know what you should do? Leave a like, click on the subscribe button below, and hit the notification bell next to it so you'll always know when I have another video up for you to enjoy.